Hello, today we're going to cover the example worksheet 5.4. Hopefully you have printed off this worksheet and you are following along as I proceed through the problems. In the last worksheet we looked at hedging as what we predicted, and then we figured out what we made on the futures contracts and then added that or subtracted that from the cash price. That's basically what we're going to be doing in these problems. They are the same, it's the exact same problem worded in a different way as example and assignments 5.3. So let's go ahead and check these problems out and see if we can determine a solution. Problem 1, on the board, the corn, for what that means, first of all, on the board, that means the futures price. The price of December corn is $5.45 a bushel. Farmer Bob sells a contract for $5.45 a bushel. In December, Farmer Bob buys back the contract for $3.95 a bushel, and the basis is 30 cents under. Farmer Bob sells cash corn in town for cash price. What price did Farmer Bob realize on his cash corn? Well, let's take a look. Remember, here's what we need to figure out when solving these problems. What we sold futures at, what we buy futures at. From there, we're going to figure gain or loss. And then, from there, we're going to figure our cash price of our corn by looking at the futures price at which we bought. Then from there, subtract the basis to figure cash corn price. I should call this futures at the time of cash sale. So, in this problem, we sold futures for $5.45 a bushel. We bought the futures back. Farmer Bob buys back the contract for $3.95 a bushel. That's a gain. We sold high, we bought low. That's a gain of $1.50. The futures price at the time of the cash sale is $3.95. We bought back, it was $3.95, and basis at that time was 30 cents under. So that means our cash price at that time was $3.65. So what did we realize on our crop? The $3.65 for cash corn plus the $1.50 gain equals a hedge price of $5.15. Or realized price. We made $1.50 on the board. We sold our cash corn for $3.65. And we end up with the $5.15 realized price. So, on to problem 2. On the board, the contract for December is selling for $4.85 a bushel, and Farmer Bob predicts a basis of 25 cents. Well, all that predicted basis does is help us predict what our hedge price is. It has no effect on what our actual hedge price is. In this example, it ends up being that we predicted correctly and that our ending basis is in fact the 25 cents. But we'll see how that affects us here in a little bit. Farmer Bob sells a contract for the $4.85. In December, Farmer Bob buys back the contract for $4.44, and the basis is 25 cents. Farmer Bob sells cash corn in town for cash price. What price did Farmer Bob realize on his corn? Well, he sold futures at $4.85. He buys it back at $4.44. That's a gain of 41 cents. How do we know it gained? Because we bought lower than we sold it. We sold high and bought low. The futures price at the time of the cash sale was the $4.44. Basis was what we predicted it was going to be, the 25 cents. So that means the cash price that we received was $4.19. Our realized price then is $4.19 plus 41 cents equals $4.60. So that is problem 2, a hedger. Now let's look at this from the perspective of a speculator. Problem 3. Remember now, a speculator is not actually raising the physical product of corn, hogs, cattle, whatever it is that's being traded. They're just buying and selling contracts with the idea of making money from price movements. Okay, speculator Sam thinks that July corn is going up and therefore blank 5 July corn contracts at $4.50. Well, if we think corn's going up, we're going to buy today. We're going to buy contracts in hopes that they go up. So we buy at $4.50 a bushel. In July, Sam offsets his initial transaction at $5.30. So how do we offset buying? We sell. How did we do on our futures trade? Well, this speculator did very well. We made 80 cents a bushel. We bought at $4.50, we sold at $5.30. This person may or may not, probably did not even plant corn. Might not even know what corn looks like. But they made 80 cents a bushel because they bought at $4.50, they turned around later and sold it at $5.30. They have an 80-cent bushel gain. $0.80 a bushel times 5 contracts at 5,000 bushels a contract equals 25,000 bushels, and 80 cents times 5,000 bushels equals, or 80 cents times 25,000 bushels equals $20,000. This speculator made $20,000 on this transaction. Just remember, for every speculator that makes $20,000, someone had to lose $20,000. So the speculator is buying and selling trying to make money from price swings. The farmer, yes, the farmer has the price swings also and the futures transaction, but they have the physical product, the cash corn that they're going to sell to make up, to offset what happens on the futures market. The hedger or farmer, if they make money on the futures market, that offsets a lower price in the cash market. And vice versa, if cash corn goes up, they take a loss, and that makes up for the loss in the futures market. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at number 4. On the board, the corn contract for December is selling for $6.10. Farmer Bob predicts a basis of 45 cents. Okay, that 45 cents predicted, all that tells us is he's predicting predicting a hedge price of 610 minus the 45 cents. That's $5.65. They're predicting a hedge price of $5.65. It doesn't mean they're necessarily going to get it. Farmer Bob sells a contract, so okay, we sell at 610. In December, Farmer Bob buys back the contract at 504. Farmer Bob buys back the contract at 504. That's a gain of $1.06. Now, futures price at the time of cash sale is that 504. Basis is 38 cents. So that means a cash price of $4.66. So what are we finding out is our realized price? $4.66 plus the gain of $1.06 equals $5.72. Now, let's look at a problem number 5. We're not going to do so well in the futures. We're going to lose money in the futures, I think, in this problem. But let's see what happens. On the board, the contract for December corn is selling for $6.85, and Farmer Bob predicts a basis of 42 cents. Farmer Bob sells the contract. In December, Farmer Bob buys back the contract for $8.35. So okay, let's back up. We sell for $6.85. We buy futures at $8.35. That's a loss of $1.50 a bushel. Now, futures price at the time of cash sales, $8.35. Basis was 42 cents. So our cash price was $7.93. Okay, so we lost money on the board here. We lost money on our futures transaction, but our cash price went up. So we take our cash price, $7.93, minus the loss from the futures transaction of $1.50. That equals $6.43. Okay, our initial sale. By the way, a way to do this even quicker is you take your initial selling price of $6.85 minus your ending basis. $6.85 minus 42 cents is $6.43, which is exactly what we realized. So you take your initial move, your initial sale price, minus your ending basis. That will get you your realized price. We do it the long way so that I make sure you understand where these numbers come from. This farmer predicted a hedge price of $6.45. $6.85 minus 45 cents. That would have been $6.45 as it predicted. It ended up being $6.43 because basis was 2 cents wider than what we predicted. Similar to the last word, email or give me a call, and I'll do the very best to help you in any way that I can. Thanks for tuning in.